Following Friday's ruling of a federal judge suspending the FDA's approval of an abortion drug, mifepristone, in some states, the Nevada Legislature is now considering a bill called the Right to Contraception Act.
It would also prohibit the state and healthcare providers from creating burdens to getting access to the contraception. Fox 5's Shauna Kalafi is in studio with more on the impact to Nevadans. Shauna.
Well, guys, Nevada is one of the states that's actually fighting to keep access to mifepristone, but our team reached out to about a dozen local pharmacies who said they only carry the drug on an as-needed basis, and they don't have any right now. One pharmacy said they tried to order mifepristone a few months ago, but they were told it wasn't available.
Amidst this confusion, we must provide clarity and assurance to all Nevadans that their reproductive care decisions are protected and that their access to contraception is guaranteed now and forever in the state of Nevada.
Assembly Bill 383 was discussed Monday at the Nevada State Legislature's Committee on Health and Human Services. It's designed to prevent local governments from creating laws that would block access to reproductive health care services for Nevadans. Services like birth control, in vitro fertilization, and miscarriage medications. The bill would also require insurance providers to cover voluntary sterilization procedures. But not everyone was in support.
There was a lot of people saying about that this bill is going to protect minority like me, and I'm here to testify against. We Latinos don't want a more abortion. We Latinos women come here to work and to provide and protect her families.
If passed, the bill would go into effect January 1st. This follows Friday's national ruling aiming to ban the mifepristone abortion drug in some states.
It's really upsetting to know that we're continuing to just chip away at every different area we can think of to make sure that people don't have access to decisions that should be made, by themselves, with their family, and with their primary care physician, their obstetrician, whomever it is they decide, rather than a politician.
Mifepristone is typically the first of a 2-pill regimen commonly used for abortions, followed by misoprostol. But it is possible to use only the latter pill if mifepristone is unavailable.
So that's what most of the physicians and practices are starting to do. They're starting to double down on making sure they're prepared to just do the misoprostol only.
And the committee did take public comment during that meeting today discussing Assembly Bill 383. They had several people speaking out on both sides, both in support and in opposition of that proposal. Joe and Kim.